wanted to put together a videotape series on basic sound mixing, okay, to help you out. And because, you know, if you were like me, you were probably asked to, you know, help out in the sound booth at your church or venue, and you know, you didn't know what you were doing, and you might got some training or whatnot, and you know, you don't know how much you should participate or not, and you know, and the whole thing seems so kind of imposing and confusing. Okay, so hopefully I'll this series, if you like this series, I was going to put together, you know, just a few videos to help you out and to get you going. This particular segment, I wanted to talk about kind of your role as a audio technician. Okay, what is our role when we are mixing back here? Okay, and I've seen a lot of different people do a lot of different things with a lot of different philosophies. From the people that think that, well, all my job is to turn on the system and make sure there's sound coming out through the speakers, and those are the people that sort of turn on the system, pull the fader up to unity or whatever, and sit back and fold their arms and kind of look out and make sure there's sound out there. Okay. And I used to be like that, okay? To people that they're basically sound engineers out here, DJs working back here, people that work in the industry, that are helping out at the churches or even working for the church, and they're mixing and they're constantly doing things back here. They're making adjustment throughout the entire worship set. Okay, and so what are they doing? Why are they working so hard? Why can't I just fold my arms and sit back against the wall and just make sure there's sound? Again, it's just a matter of what philosophy and how much you and your church or venue want to put into it, okay, and where you want to go with it. I think you know, it should be a little bit more than just turning on the system. To me, the sound technician is just as important, if not more important, than the guys up in the band, the worshipers, okay, the worship leaders. If it wasn't for the sound technicians, no one would be able to hear them, okay? But at the same token, you know, that's probably the most thankless job you'll ever see. You're not on stage performing in front of the audience. They don't see you, at least they shouldn't see you. If you do your job right, no one should know you exist, okay? And then that's when you know you've done a good job. And to me, it's truly a servant's heart, because you're there to serve the people, but to serve the musicians too, okay, so that they can then in turn serve and lead worship, okay? So your job is extremely important. You're really a support to the worship team, and so that they can then lead the congregation in worship, so that as a congregation they worship the Lord, okay? And so if the sound doesn't sound quite good, then it detracts from worship. So if you have feedback in the middle of a worship set, then all of a sudden people out in the congregation then focus in on the feedback problem, and this is probably when they turn around and look at you, okay, and therefore, you know, their ability to worship has been diminished. So because of your lack of training or your mistake or whatever, you have detracted from the worship. Okay. On the flip side of the coin, if you do your job well and there is no feedback and the worship band does sound good, then your job as a technician, you know, really enhance worship, and therefore you've enhanced the worship experience for each member of the congregation, and I think God will bless you for that. Okay, but you know, your job is to make sure all things go well and make sure the mix is well. Okay, there are people out there that really know what music's supposed to sound like, and if your worship leader is really loud and you can't hear the acoustic guitar, or the keys are, you know, just sort of, you know, off or sounding funny, okay, then you get a lot of you know, people looking at, you know, you just don't get the right worshipful experience. So again, your role in, you just got to remember, as the audio technician, your role in worship is just as important as anyone up on that stage. Okay, your role in worship is just as important as the pastor or the speaker. You've got to make sure their lapel works, or their lapel mic works, or their podium mic works, or whatnot. Okay, and it's a lot of work. You've got to come in early to do setup, wiring the cables, and you got to stay late. You're usually the first one on site and the last one to leave. Okay, and you know, if you were really dedicated, you go to all the practices and make sure you understand that sound team and what's going on. Okay, and so you know the changes. You know, you can't operate this coming in 5 minutes before service starts. You just have to be, you know, involved in every aspect of the worship, and then you become truly a support team member. So you are probably one of the most important people than anyone else on the worship team. Okay, so I hope that the next couple of series of videos will go to enhance your experience and your abilities to be that key sound technician for your church or school or whatever venue you are working for. Okay, so we'll get into the video series in the next segment. Thank you.